it changed. We haven't talked to a man who is all about positivity and good vibes and energy. Jorge Andres, WBTV, right down the hall in our building here. Jorge, you got to be loving what you've seen from Bryce lately.
Listen, you're welcome, guys, because I brought the good luck. I mean, since I got here,
Oh, he's claiming it.
I'm telling you right now. No, I'm kidding. No, listen, I'm loving every single bit of what I've seen from not just Bryce Young as of late, but just this whole rebrand, this whole thing. Here's the thing, guys. The Panthers were not a good team, not even close. And I said a playoff victory, a Super Bowl win would be 5, 6 wins with a new head coach. What did they get? They got those 5 wins. If there could be a comeback player of the year in season, it's Bryce Young.
Absolutely.
I mean, this guy was throwing 2.5-yard checkdowns at the beginning of the season. And now he's going around scrambling, dancing, running, scoring, throwing the rock. If you're not energized from what you saw the last 5, 6 games of this season, you've been watching arena football because this Panther team is completely different.
Absolutely.
So we've seen teams before have hope at the end of seasons,
Yeah.
and it doesn't always carry over. Does this feel different to you that this hope, there is a carryover effect because the quarterback is playing so much better?
So, a couple.
Shout out to the live stream.
Yeah, actually, by the way, everybody go ahead and jump in on this at QC Life, at Jorge Andres on TV, and of course here at WFNZ because we're live streaming it. Because
Hello,
here's the thing.
ladies.
What's that?
I said, hello, ladies.
Hello. We'll get into that. We'll get into that in a minute. We're working on the full screen for you over the TV side too.
Yeah, there you go.
No, but here's the thing. After Wright got fired and Canales came in, Morgan came in, we obviously already had Bryce. You wanted to see what Canales could do with Bryce. That was number one. But more importantly, in my opinion, you wanted to see what Morgan could do with the culture in that building. And it really does feel like an organizational facelift in terms of the culture that changed, in terms of, and the soundbite lives forever, that Morgan's looking for dogs.
Yeah.
And listen, he found him. It may be a little guy in Bryce Young just because of statue, but that dog packs a bite, and he's proven it thus far. Now, the optimism to your question is all going to happen depending on what happens in the offseason. Now you need to see how are you going to process your draft plan compared to your free agency plan, because there's clearly needs. Luckily, it's not the quarterback. I think we've put that to rest. But there's clearly needs. That is going to dictate whether this team is going to stay and spin their wheels at 5 to 7 wins for the next 3 years, or if they're going to gradually improve, maybe to 6, 7, 8 wins next year, maybe to 9, 10, 11 wins in a year or two. That's what the offseason is going to do.
Dogs are made in the summer. Jorge
That's it.
Andres, our quote on the wall.
Yes,
You're
that's
on
right.
the quote wall over
I
there.
said it, I think the first time that I came in here, and that's the thing, man, because you felt it when Morgan said it when he first got introduced, and my favorite part of this is that he's a defensive guy, and what is screaming for help right now? The defense of this team.
It's got to kill him to watch that defense.
It's got to eat him
It's got to
away.
be personal to him.
Yes.
Here's the thing. Jorge Andres, WBTV, is with us. He brought cameras, man. Bones requesting graphics being put on the screen. Oh,
Why is nothing safe with you?
Yeah.
Why can't you we had a production meeting with our guy Carmichael.
Yes.
With Jorge, and then you go on the air, and you can't just keep it to
Look,
yourself.
we're helping you out. We're helping you out. We're teeing you up, man. I'm just teeing it up
I
right
said
there.
on the Chiron, put up their Bones, single and desperate.
Very single and ready to mingle. My good friend Bone here, ladies.
I wanted to make sure the radio listening ladies.
Who
knew
knows?
that.
Hey, listen.
WBT, there could be a house, a woman out there that's
Listen,
watching.
there's a lot of sports fans out there,
Exactly.
male or female.
But
They're
my
out
guy
there.
here can't just be the wingman.
I was trying to help.
I got you. I got you,
All
Bone.
right, all right. Let Jorge help. I'll step out of the way. So how do you balance this offseason? How do you think Dan should balance this offseason? The defensive needs, which are many. I honestly think every position could use an upgrade.
Yes.
But then on the flip side, it's very tempting to say Bryce needs a big time weapon, or at least a big time speed threat, or you know what I mean, something more in the wide receiver crew. So how do you balance that out?
You got to. I mean, you look at the NFL draft in the offseason. You see camera angles of here's the big board, here's the best player available, whether it's a defensive need, whether it's an offensive need. Right now, the Panthers are in a good position because they don't have to chase that quarterback. They don't have to chase that athlete. Travis Hunter's going to be gone. Cam Ward's going to be. They don't need that anyways. If there's an offensive player, and in my opinion, that's a big if, that drops to the Panthers, it's going to be T-Mac in Arizona.
Yeah.
And that is a receiver that could immediately impact what he does, not just with Xavier Legette, but with that offense. The tight end position for me was one that needed to be resolved. I think we're starting to see a future solution there in what's on the roster now, which then lends to your defensive guys on the board, your Abdul Carters from Penn State, your Jalen Walkers. Even if you wanted to go in the secondary and wanted to go with Mason Graham, if he slips, and that's a big if he slips, or you wanted to go with Will Johnson from Michigan, if you wanted to hit the secondary. But if Mason wants to be the guy that is opposite of whoever ends up being in that defensive front to help this defense, that now you have more options. You don't have to marry a receiver or quarterback. You can look at, hey, maybe it does end up being that a receiver like T-Mac is the best guy on the board, but you can focus on the defense because then you can supplement it with some pretty good receivers that are going to be looking to get paid in free agency.
How surprised are you that Tepper stepped out of the kitchen this year
I-
and let the chefs cook a little bit?
Oh, you don't understand. And we were talking about during the break, I had a history with Washington. I worked for the team, and there was an owner in Dan Snyder that could not keep his hand out of the cookie jar. And when I first got here, I said, oh, no. Oh, no.
You were having flashbacks.
Oh, this is the same. But I can't remember. One of you guys brought it up when I was here that Tepper had hired a third-party agency to kind of, yes, a firm.
Sportsology. I think
Yes,
is what it's
correct.
called.
Yes, correct.
Same firm that Detroit and San Francisco
Yes.
hired to do an audit of the
Yes.
organization, in
Yes.
addition to helping with the GM and the coach search.
That was my first, like, wait a minute.
That was big.
Maybe it was, yes. I was like, wait a minute. Maybe he really is, because I do believe he is a very brilliant businessman. And if you're a very good businessman, you have to be okay with accepting that you don't know everything. So when I saw that, and we chatted about that, I said, maybe he is taking a step back. I'll believe it when I see it. So far, I'm believing it because it looks like he's been able. Now, don't get me wrong. There's going to be the explosions here and there. And I think it's because he's a passionate guy. But I've been very surprised that he's let Morgan cook, he's let Canales cook, and most importantly, on the player side, the players are buying in to what Canales has and the energy that just is coming off of this guy.
If you were to tell me before the season that Canales will bench Bryce 2 games in, first of all, I was so gung ho about Bryce going into his second year. I wouldn't have believed. I wouldn't believe he'd be that bad, right? But I also would be like, is Tepper going to allow that? Because everybody knows how much Tepper liked Bryce.
That's a good point.
So the fact that Tepper didn't step in there and be like, no, this is the guy we gave up everything for. You got to play him. I brought you here to coach him up. The fact that was allowed to happen was another good sign.
I was just going to say, that was sign one that maybe he is taking his hand out of the cookie jar. And it came to fruition, and he really did that. And he let Canales lead. Now, I will say this, to your point, I saw Bryce, and I said, oh, no. This is not, you can't be averaging 3 yards per pass and pretend to be
He was playing scared.
He was playing terrified.
Yeah.
He would not take a hit. He'd rather scramble 15 yards backwards and take a sack than take a hit. What happened after the benching? It was a come to reality moment. And not only did the confidence level up because he knew he had nothing to lose. Either you're getting it done or you're going to be showing the door real quick. And then the confidence grew. The talent that's been there from day one was on display. And the best part, and I believe it was the Germany game. I could be off by a week or two, but it was when Canales made a play call and you saw Bryce Young on the sideline kind of chirp at him a little bit, kind of bark at him a little bit. And I said, wait a minute, hold the chicken. who is this kid?
Hold the chicken.
Who is this kid? I'll
Yeah.
tell you what, he had the confidence to do that,
Yeah.
to say, no, that was the wrong play call. Put it in my hands. Winners want to win. They want the ball in their hands. We're seeing that now. That was not the kid week 1 and 2. The week 1 and 2 was the kid that, please tuck me into bed and give me some more milk. The kid now, is not even a kid. He's a grown man.
Yeah, he is, man. No
Yeah.
doubt. Confidence, edge. We're seeing
Yes,
those things
yes.
come out in him.
Now they got to build on that, though.
You
Yeah.
mentioned you're a Washington fan. You've been through hell for the last 30 years.
I mean,
basically.
brother, I was 6 the last time I was this happy, and I'm 40 years young.
So how amped are you? Sunday night playoff game, not just a playoff game, a winnable one, and you're in the biggest window on Sunday Night Football this week.
How cool is it that Washington, a storied franchise that got beaten, battered with Dan Snyder, with that entire disaster and dysfunctional culture that was there, finally not only has a quarterback that is a very good player, but also a class act, has an owner that steps away, lets them cook, doesn't get into the kitchen, and then has a head coach that everybody's willing to run through a brick wall for. I haven't seen that, like I said, since I was 6. Now, the fact that we drew Tampa Bay is such a great measuring stick because we opened the season with Tampa Bay and we lost to Tampa Bay. So now to have this measuring stick, and even if Washington does lose, you're really going to get to see how much of a leap you made in 1 year. And if you're not excited about that, as a Washington fan, because I grew up in Washington, D.C., I worked for the team, I called the games. If you're not excited about that, then you might as well go watch live high-speed badminton, because this isn't what football's about. You know what I'm saying?
He's giving
that
us
a real sport?
He's giving us hold the chicken and high speed badminton
Hold on.
today, baby.
Look,
Can you handle that?
I was gonna say DraftKings and FanDuel keep sending me push alerts, so that's how I know. German pretzel cutting, I'm in. I'm in.
Oh, you're so right, man. And I know there's Washington fans out there, and maybe they're kind of part Panther, part Washington.
Sure,
now.
because this
But
was
like,
Redskins country back in the day before the Panthers got here.
time. So I know there's fans out there that have your energy, and you should all have it. There's no doubt about it.
Trying to look up high-speed badminton
It
videos.
sounds like a hell of a sport. doesn't
Yo,
it?
you better get ready. You better get ready.
All right, Jorge, let everybody know what you have going on over there on the TV side, because I think a lot of our listeners love your style, love your passion.
I appreciate that. Listen, we got a lot of great things going on. Number one, our morning show and our afternoon lifestyle show, QC Life, has just taken a complete rebrand. It is a brand new show. I have a brand new co-host, former professional volleyball player, by the way, played in
dang.
France, played in Spain, Jana Angel. She the art studio that has been debuted on Monday. New graphics, new music, complete new rebrand for our morning and afternoon lifestyle shows from 9 a.m. to 9:30, 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. As well, Monday through Friday. And then on top of that, our sports show, The Point After. It airs digitally, streaming on every platform, Mondays and Fridays at 1 p.m. Eastern time. Well, I'm not going to tell you what's going to happen, but I'm going to tell you what's going to happen.
All right.
This Point After show, let's just say you're going to be able to watch it on bigger platforms and bigger monitors, if you will. Maybe monitors that are at restaurants where there's tables and bars. Maybe monitors that are in your living room. Very, very soon.
Nice.
That's coming soon. So tune into the Point After Mondays and Fridays at 1, and of course QC Life at 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. guys.
Awesome.
About that?
You the man, Jorge. Thanks so much, brother.
Appreciate you both, Bone. Don't you worry though. I got you. I'm gonna start sending some tweets, some texts. I got your back. I'm putting the full screen, single and ready to mingle.
There we go. Yes. yes. Down to mingle. Yes. DTM.
All right, we go from one great, energetic broadcaster to another.
Another mingler.
Dog, another guy that needs a graphic if he makes it on this on this live stream. The Fit Dog. What do you got over there, Fit?
All right, guys, let's take a look at the Crown Royal scoreboard. And I guess, Mac, let's take a look back at last night's win for NC State. They beat Notre Dame 66-65 at home to improve to 9-6 on the year.